Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back. I am Matt, and this is another Feather and Inkwell ink review, and we are doing 5 more days this time, all in one go from the Diamine Inkvent calendar. And I'm going to be reviewing all of them, and I'll go over some of my favorite, what they have in them, and what they say their special properties are. Join me at the table as we check out all 5. Welcome back to my table, YouTube, and we're taking a look at the inks that I have, all 5 of them lined up here. And the first one I'm going to put in view is called Grotto. Now, this is a different thing that they've done this time. On the side is labeled Extreme Sheen. Now, for any of you that don't know, maybe the difference between Shimmer, Sheen, and Standard, or anything like that. So, Sheening is when you kind of turn your page at a little bit of an angle, or the light catches it at a different angle, and a different color catches. Different from glitter or shimmer, which is their Chameleon. So in Sheening, it's kind of like a metallic kind of side glance that you get. I'm going to hold this up and see if it catches. If not, I'll just describe it to you. No, it's not quite catching in our camera. That's alright. So the effect is, once I get all these other ink bottles. So we start off with this kind of darker red-orange color. And you want to make sure you write with a very wet nib. The wetter you write, the greater the sheen effect is actually on the page as you turn it. Areas like this little pool here, when you're actually in light and in person, have a little green area around it. Same thing with this over here. All these letters I wrote extremely wet with my glass pen, so they all have a nice sheen around it. But of the two, I think it was a little bit lesser than a later one. So down here, I put this kind of a burnt orange, a little bit of red in it, that sheens green. It's a very cool effect, but it's not showing up in my camera that well. What I'm sure you can see is probably this right here. Yes, that is really picking up nice. So Snow Globe is a dark blue, and it is what they call Chameleon. It has lots of shimmer in it, and all up in here, over on this one, in this area, it has a lot, and especially over here. And you could really pick it up in the camera right there. It has kind of a nice deep bluish purple shimmer that's all in it. Same thing with the letters. I wrote really wet to make sure I picked it up and really shook the bottle for everyone. What did that look like, that bottle? So here's kind of what that bottle looks like. You have an idea. Like I said, this is labeled Chameleon, and this is what you get in the box. Snow Globe. So that is probably my favorite one of these 5. But I do feel like the Extreme Sheen, if you write really good and you have a particularly broad, wet nib, probably comes out wonderfully. Now, Lullaby is kind of, it's the standard. They had to have at least one in there. So this is kind of between a little bit darker and a light pink. It's kind of close to the Snow Lily that they had last time. Nothing that special about it. So if you just feel like you need to maybe have it in a decent pen, maybe you have an expensive pen and you want to write with something that's going to last a little while, this one won't clog up your feed with anything. It's just a nice flat ink. Has kind of an average color to it. It's a good usable ink. Now the next one in line is Mint Twist. Now this is another high shimmer ink. So it has a lot of glitter in it. You can see that right there. That's nice kind of blue-green glitter in it. And there is the front of it. And let's see if it picks it up in the light. Right there, you could start to see it. Lighting is a little bit challenging to see it, but it did come out better than the previous lemon lime. It's a little bit darker. It's easier to see. Some of the glitter comes out easier. Some of the wet spots. So like this has a little bit in it. This area right here has a little bit. Some of the darker areas here and here have the most. The text is a little bit less, but that's to be expected. But it does have some. I think the snow globe had some of the most in it comparatively. Now, lastly, I really hope this shows up. This is another Extreme Sheen, but yep, there it is. I saw it in the camera. It is difficult to pick up, but this one has the most. So it too is Sheening green. I'm just seeing it in the camera here and there. You have to kind of have special light for these cameras to pick up the sheen, but so once again, it has kind of a metallic kind of side glance to it, to where looking straight on, it looks kind of like roasted chestnuts over an open fire. It kind of reminds you of that. It has kind of that nutshell kind of brown to it with just a little bit of orange. But then even from here, looking at it just in plain flat light without a lot of tip, I can see green coming out here, a little bit here, and all up in my text. I could just overall see more green in this than I could in the Grotto. The Grotto has it, but maybe because I wrote with a little bit less ink on my dipping pen, it didn't come out as strong. But in here, it came out really good. Now, that's Sleigh Ride, and again, it was another Extreme Sheen. Top favorite inks overall for these 5 days. So, probably my least favorite, but still a favorite. It has good effect, the Sleigh Ride. It has the most amount of green that I can see without tipping my page at all kinds of weird angles. The Mint Twist has a fair amount of shimmer to it, but not a lot. So you could put it in the average page and it shows up good and dark. And it still has that little bit of holiday spirit, that little bit of shimmer that, you know, is good. But overall, my top favorite right here, Snow Globe. It really, really stands out, and you can really see it really easily right there. You could already see it on the page. Oh yeah, absolutely wonderful. Kind of comparing to that previous Chilly Night, kind of the same effect there. A nice dark blue with some purple in it, and a lot of shimmer and shine. So overall, definitely top favorite, Snow Globe, folks. That's what I'm choosing out of these 5. What's your favorite for this time period? Let me know.